It's the George Plaster Show. 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown. And it's a shame it's taken this long to get an introduction for this Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer, Kelly Holcomb, along with young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. Cloudy, overcast Wednesday, apparently rain later on tonight. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you. Hope you'll spend a little time at some point in the next 24 hours thinking about reasons for Thanksgiving. What is it that's going on in your life that you're thankful about? Because that's sort of what it's all about. And on our end, other than the fact that I got a little bit of a cold, I got a lot to be thankful for. Let's say hello to Billy Derrick, who joins us from the state of Maryland.
Yep.
How are you?
I'm good. I've realized that the family is a stuffing family. So there's
that's certainly some important news
Yep.
for us to have.
Absolutely. But I think we're a stuffing family as well. Never referred to it as dressing. Always been a big stuffing family. So
Okay.
wanted
Well,
to get that out there.
for me, I don't really care as long as I'm not the one cooking it.
I'm also more I prefer ham over turkey as
A
cruel
little bit,
as
yeah. Yeah. I get it.
Sounds
We'll
wrong,
get-
but that's
Yeah,
where I'm at.
We'll get into this all later. We're both thankful for Terry McCormick. Terry and I go back, 25, 28 years, something like that, as friends. Terry, how are you?
Doing well, George. Doing well, and you are correct. A lot to be thankful for me and my family, and just the blessings of the good Lord. And thank you for your friendship over the years.
It works both ways. So, I got to thinking, I bet one of the things you're thankful for is that you somehow pulled off going to a game in the World Series with your son.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's a once in a lifetime moment to be able to enjoy that with him, and knowing what a big baseball fan he is, and to be able to sit in the stands and watch that with him. It was a lot of fun.
When you say sit in the stands, it looked like you were closer. You were very close to the foul pole. It looked like you could touch it from up
We
there.
could see over it. We saw a bird landing on top of the foul pole.
Could you see the mesh in the foul pole?
Yeah, I mean, you could see. We had a good view of it, a very good view of it.
Tell me what's going on in Titan land.
Well, the Titans are going to try to do something that they've not done in over 2 years, George, this week when they go to face the Washington Commanders up in the nation's capital, or actually in Maryland. They're going to try to win 2 games in a row. It's been 35 games since this team has put together even a 2-game winning streak. And when you go through these losing cycles and rebuilds and things like that, there are sometimes some ugly stats that can accrue and accumulate over that span. And, you remember the 30-point one where they went 37 games, I believe it was, before they'd scored 30 points in a game. They ended that against Miami earlier this year. So now they'll try to get this other monkey off their back to see if they can actually win 2 games in a row.
Terry, is there a feeling that the best of the Commanders has passed them by, that the Commanders of right now are not as good as the Commanders of 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you'd get anybody out here to say that, because they certainly have their own issues. They've got to, put in the preparation work to try and go out there and win. But in looking at it, it appears that Jaden Daniels, after a fantastic start to his NFL career, has started to tail off just a little bit. I don't know if he's hit the rookie wall. I don't know if, teams are getting more film on him and maybe trying to, rein him in a little bit, but he's not been as good over the last 3 or 4 games as he was earlier in the year when he was really running away with the Rookie of the Year voting.
My gut feeling watching their game against Dallas, they got him running too much.
Yeah, and he can run, and he does some of that, but his strength really is throwing the football. He can be very accurate with the ball, as you saw earlier in the year. There was that Monday night game, remember, where he completed I think it was 90% of his passes. That's just unheard of.
It's Cincinnati.
So the kid's got accuracy, and that he can hurt you with his arm. And, maybe some of that is, on the protections breaking down and whatnot. And if so, that's a good thing for the Titans defense, because in the second half against Houston, the pass rush finally started to show up a little bit.
So what level of health do the Titans have going into this game?
Pretty good. I think, they've got your typical bumps and bruises, and there'll be some guys that'll get some time off from practice in order to stay healthy and heal up as much as possible. But they've got a chance to get Chidobe Awuzie back in the secondary after he's missed some time with a groin injury. Amani Hooker had that flu bug or whatever it was that kept him from playing Sunday. So he should be back out on the practice field. And they really didn't suffer any major injuries out of Sunday's game. So pretty healthy overall.
Is your gut feeling that we will see L'Jarius Sneed again this year or not?
My guess would be no. I mean, unless this team goes on some kind of miracle run and they've got playoff life left in the last 3 weeks, even if it's a long shot, I wouldn't look for it. I would think that you would just, tell them to rest up, heal up, and be ready for next year. Now, if somehow they get to 6-8 and he's ready to come back and play, maybe you put him out there. If you're still on that graphic that says in the hunt, but otherwise, I think they probably shut him down.
Something that crossed my mind, and I have no idea why, but you have memories of Thanksgiving. It was when they were still the Oilers, but they were playing in Nashville. And they were going on Thanksgiving to play the Cowboys. Okay, help me. Was there not a touchdown drive of the Titans of 21 plays?
Yes, and I think it might have been a field goal drive. I think they may have driven from their own 2 to the other 2 and then got stopped on a third down and kicked the field goal, if I remember correctly.
Now, why I remember that, I have no idea. I also remember Chris Johnson exploded in Detroit on a Thanksgiving Day against a really bad Lions team.
That was the Lions team that went winless. The thing that I remember of that was when the Lions, Dave Ball got a sack or an interception.
Hold on a second.
And
is that how? Hold on. Is that Hal Steinbrenner calling you?
I think it probably is. No, it's my wife. I'll call her back.
Okay. I was going to say, if it's Hal, tell him to kiss off. No, you were going somewhere on Chris Johnson.
Yeah, it was actually what I remember from that game was the turkey dance of Dave Ball after he's got an interception.
Oh, wow.
Touchdown. Don't you remember that? He was doing the clapping his arms.
So those are the 2 times since they've been with us that they've played on Thanksgiving?
Yes. Yes, that's the only 2.
They've had a couple of Christmas Day games.
Yes.
But those are the 2 in Thanksgiving. Okay. I never asked you this. How did your high school do Friday night?
Unfortunately, they came up on the short end 14-7.
But as you know, Battleground Academy did not come up short.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations.
We're in the state finals to play CPA next Thursday.
Ingle Martin.
Yes. It won't be easy.
No, it won't.
Listen, have a good weekend. Enjoy your football. Enjoy being with the family. Happy Thanksgiving, Terry.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too, George.
Talk to you. Terry McCormick, Main Street Media, TitanInsider.com, joining us here on the show. Billy, do you have an update of substance?
It's got a little substance today, and it's brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. You can find her online at mortgageladyyusa.com or give her a call, 615-969-4350.
Now, am I right in the update that Kelly will join us for some of the second hour of our buffoonery?
Yes, Kelly's going to hop in at Underdog Picks here at the top of the hour. So
beautiful.
That'll be exhilarating.
That's not the word I was thinking.
Anyway, the Preds are back home tonight to host Tony Basilio's Philadelphia Flyers.
Yes,
and he will be in attendance tonight.
Well, not only are you hearing it, I will confirm it. I'm 304 row 1. He's 304, about 4 or 5 rows behind me. I'm sure he'll have an autograph session between periods. Bring your cameras.
Yes, autographs at 6.
Yeah.
7 o'clock puck drop. That's a big game.
Well, what he told me was it's the first time he will have been. He grew up a Flyers fan, and he used to go see him in the Spectrum. The Spectrum was the building where the national title was held the night President Reagan got shot. And he told me today that this is the first time in 40 plus years, that he will have seen the Flyers. So he's pretty pumped about it.
That's cool. And I'm sure for Preds fans who may be Tennessee fans would love to see Tony out there tonight. So how's the crowd usually on this?
It's normally on. This is a traditional the night before Thanksgiving. They have, and I'm guessing they have requested each year this date. It is normally a very tight house, very full.
Well, it should be fun. Preds need a win tonight against 7 o'clock puck drop at Bridgestone. Coming out of the Harbaugh Bowl, there's a big piece of news with running back J.K. Dobbins. He suffered a sprained MCL. He's expected to be out this week against the Falcons. He'll be week to week moving forward. So,
I feel sorry for him. There's a lot of talent there, but he has been plagued, as you know, by a ton of injuries.
Yeah,
and I hate that for him.
And they didn't particularly need that. I can't think of who their backup is at running back, but he was one of the catalysts for them early on this season. So that's definitely a blow.
Yeah, through salary cap, they had to get rid of Austin Eckler.
That's right. We got some. Liv hasn't been in the news recently, but Liv Golf is expected to hire former NBA and NHL executive Scott O'Neill to replace Greg Norman as its CEO and commissioner. If the deal is finalized, an announcement could come as early as next week. He was the CEO of the 76ers starting in 2013, and he also oversaw the New Jersey Devils. So maybe that's a start of some changes to Liv. I don't know.
Who knows? I heard they're not coming back here next year, which, given the amount of success they had, is kind of a head scratcher.
Yeah, that was a really successful event down there at the Grove. I don't know why they wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
We got some baseball news. The Dodgers land Blake Snell. 5 years.
The rich get richer.
5 years, $182 million. Whew.
Well, let me say this. Blake Snell, I have not seen one thing that ever linked him to Atlanta. I never thought that was a possibility. I don't know. I think from a salary standpoint, that is above their pay grade. That's $36 million a year. They're not going there.
How the Dodgers
and look, who knows whether they're right or wrong on that. I'd be a lot more excited if you said Max Fried re-signed with the Braves. That's what I want. You You want a good Thanksgiving? Give me that piece of news.
Yeah, that should be coming. At least we hope it's coming.
Oh, I don't think it's coming.
So you don't have faith?
I have no reason to believe he's staying in Atlanta.
Well, they got to pick up somebody. I mean, you'd imagine.
The two names I hear the most are Nathan Eovaldi and former Vanderbilt pitcher Walker Buehler. And if that's the way it turns out, I would be thrilled, because the Walker Buehler I saw in the World Series is a healthy, electric Walker Buehler. I'd love to have him.
Buehler, that'd be huge.
Buehler.
We've also got
Mrs. Buehler. Paris has been absent from school 9 times.
We got some college hoops last night. It was a big night. Kansas took down Duke, but not before Hunter Dickinson was ejected.
That didn't look good
in the second half. He kicked at Duke player Malik Brown in the head.
Things got a little pissy.
Yeah, but then so you had that. Kansas got the win over Duke. Elsewhere in college hoops, well, there is a game right now, Louisville and Indiana, actually on ESPN. Kentucky held off Western Kentucky. As we mentioned yesterday, Colorado beat UConn. Oregon actually ended up beating Texas A&M. Auburn beat North Carolina 85-72. Alabama beat Houston in overtime 85-80. Iowa State had a big win over Dayton in the Maui Invitational. And as that Maui tournament sits right now, you'll have Colorado and Iowa State. That one's actually going on right now as well. Memphis and Auburn also.
How about Memphis? So in 2 days, and this will matter come March, they'll be able to show a committee that they've beat the 2-time defending national champions, and they have beaten Michigan State. They've got a chance tonight to add Auburn to that list. That's pretty good resume building right there.
Sure is. And they went all in on this season. So we'll see what Memphis ends up doing. Also, real quick before we go to the break, with Mike Organ coming up, college football playoff rankings and bracket really was released last night. And George, you were pretty close.
I was close. Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee playing Georgia on the road, of course. They are the 8th ranked team, but they are the 9 seed.
Yeah, they need to cut all that out and just show us the pairings.
It's ridiculous.
I don't care whether TCU's ranked 22nd or not. Just give me the damn pairings. By the way, I'm guessing we're about to go to the break, right?
Yep.
Okay, a new development on the show. Mike Organ, by way of video and audio. I mean, this is a big moment for the show. So stick around. You'll find out what Mike Organ looks like on the show next. Stay tuned.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Oh, I love what's coming. The hardest working man in Nashville sports, we're actually going to be able to see and talk to. Let's bring him up. He's Mike Organ from the Tennessean. Mike, I was trying to think during the commercial. You and I have known each other 40, maybe 50 years.
That's
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Hey, Billy, help me. Why are we not getting him?
I'm not sure.
I'm not muted.
There we go.
Okay.
Got me?
Start talking. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We're still on speaking terms, George. That's the amazing thing.
So what I remember in the early years was that our mutual acquaintance friend were the Gaines brothers.
I thought you were going to go with our other mutual acquaintance, Paul Houlihan, but yes.
Oh, Lord.
The Gaines is yeah.
So I'm going to tell this story, and I know you've probably heard it. Billy has not. So, Billy, in 1985, I somehow get to go to Game 5 of the World Series between the Cardinals and the Royals. But a group of buddies of mine have to drive all night to get back to Nashville so that I can leave with Vanderbilt's team on a bus to Oxford, Mississippi. So we get there at 8:30. I look like hell. I feel like hell. And we get on the bus, and I'm on the bus with the two Gaines brothers, Brad Gaines and Chris Gaines. And Brad Gaines was the one who had nicknamed me Plasmo. And all of a sudden, he comes out with this new endoplasmosis, and you know, hey, plas, and I'm just dead. I'm not in the mood to hear any of it. And I finally turned to both of them, and I said, "You know what you two are?" I said, "You two are the guarantee that Vanderbilt takes exception admissions."
George, I am in a group text with Brad, Chris, their brothers, Jeff and Greg, who also were local football legends, and the nicknames never stop. I mean, you know, like yesterday when we said that Mac Brown had been fired at North Carolina, unfortunately, the names that were mentioned and the nicknames that came up, just it would be good comedy if I could publish it.
So, Mike, I don't know if you remember, there was a big tennis match years ago. Joe Biddle and me versus the two Gaines brothers. And it became very apparent that on our end, I was pretty good. I was playing a lot. And Chris Gaines, great athlete, could really spin it. Brad, on the other hand, not so much. So I devised the strategy that we hit everything to Brad. And at one point, Chris came strutting up to the net and he goes, I ain't got destiny in my own hands. You're hitting everything to Goob. And the response that I had, I cannot say on the air, except it started with no S.
Little known fact, the Gaineses were the only family that I know of in Hermitage or O'Hickory that had a tennis court in their backyard. Buddy Gaines, their father, was a really good tennis player, and their uncles were two of the top tennis players in town. Great doubles tandem.
Mike, before we get to supposedly why we brought you in here, around Thanksgiving, we all kind of take a moment and we say, you know, wow, I'm thankful for this or I'm thankful for that. And I think I know you well enough that my guess is that you're very thankful for the fact that you have been able to spend your entire career in what I call child's play.
Yeah, you know, not even my entire career, George. I started when I was in the 7th grade as the sports editor of the Pirates Log at Two Rivers Junior High School. And then when we moved to Hermitage, I took over as the DuPont Barker. And that was at middle school also. And then in high school, the Crimson Chronicle, and then at MTSU Sidelines. And, you know, I was, 13 years old, and started going to the Tennessean when I was 14 years old to answer phones on weekends and work with the likes of John Bibb and F.M. Williams and Bud Burns and David Klein, Larry Woody. So I went into that building over there on West End, on Broadway, 1100 Broadway, from the time I was 14 until about whenever we moved about 5 or 6 years ago when they tore it down. And of course, I'm still going in the one now that we're out on West End. So yeah, it's been a lifelong journey for me.
What do you think was the best lesson that group and those names you rattled off? A lot of them I've worked with on the air, became friends with. What was the best lesson you think they taught you?
That's a great question. What I would say was to develop relationships. You know, the writing, the fundamentals, trying to be accurate, trying to avoid mistakes. That's a given. Any journalist will tell you that. But what I learned from those guys, my mentors, was develop relationships, get people to tell you things, get them to trust you, not to write or share certain things that they'd rather not you share, but they think you might need to know for other reasons, for some other background reasons.
Background.
Yes. And don't burn them. And because once you burn one, they're going to tell others, and you'll develop this relationship, and you won't go anywhere in this business. You'll be able to go out and cover games and say who won and who lost and who scored the most points, but
no quotes.
But you won't break stories. You won't find out news. You won't find out trends. You won't find out why things happen. You'll find out things happened, but why did they happen? Why did this team not have a good offensive coordinator? Well, was it because the coach doesn't get along with his assistants? And somebody above him will tell you that maybe, or somebody below him will tell you that. And I've always been fortunate that in every beat that I've had, and I've had every beat in the sports department at least once, and backed up on many for a long time too, like I do now. I've never had a problem getting people to tell me things, and I don't know, you know, all I can attribute that to is it's not something I try to do. It's something that's ingrained, and it had to have been ingrained by those guys that came before me and just taught that to me, that it's a people business, and you know, the people have to tell you things that you're not going to know by just simply sitting down in a press row and watching.
Don't you think if he were alive that John Bibb would be pretty proud of that piece of you that you learned from all of them?
Yeah, and John was so much fun to work with, and and John was so plugged in and I always dreamed of someday being as plugged in as he was. That I covered Vanderbilt for 10 years, and most of it was under John, and he would know things. He would know who the next coach is going to be, and he wouldn't tell me. He would
Right.
to find out. He knew because he had he's a Vanderbilt guy, he was a Vanderbilt graduate, and he had these relationships, but he left it up to me to find out. Now, if it was a, big time story, then yeah, he got in there and found out things and shared. But for most things, it was just, I know who it is, but he didn't let me know. He just let me find out. And then he'd tell me later, yeah, I knew that's who it was going to be. And I was wondering how you'd go about finding it and who told you. And, well, let me tell you, this person also knew. So next time you might go to them. It was kind of like a play, with a director that knows the end. And he's just interested to see how you act it out. And that's kind of the way it was with John. And it was unique. I don't think a lot of journalists get that. And I know they don't today because those type of relationships aren't being developed today, George.
Billy, are you taking notes, Billy?
I've got a full page of notes so far.
Because what he's saying is dead on right, which is the minute somebody tells you something off the record and you jump to go ahead and print it, or to go ahead and flat out verbatim say it, you'll never get it again.
Hope you enjoyed it. Pretty much. That's pretty much the way it is. And George, what I was saying about things like that don't happen anymore. Your basketball games at the downtown Y, at the Green Hills Y, those are at Belmont. I guess, but at Belmont, those games, and I'm being serious. Those, you guys had high rollers in those games. You guys had some of the guys that knew, and I know that what you weren't trying to do that to just, we're getting those games together.
Right.
Find out information, but you found out information in those games during a water break. Charles Davis I don't know if Charlie D played with you guys or not, but Ron Bargatze might have told you something, or Bird might have told you something, that he would have told you in a formal setting or maybe at lunch or whatever. So, how the game was played, literally. And basketball.
Mike, by the way, I hope you don't have anything really important to do because we're going to run this a little longer than normal.
No, I just finished my, and if you don't mind giving myself a plug, I just finished my Tennessee State story for today. They're in the FCS playoffs, and I've just put a story online about Brandon Fisher's connection with the opponent. They're playing Montana, which is where Brandon was an outstanding outside linebacker in his playing days. And even though it's been 15 years, Eddie George feels that Brandon still has some insight, as to the winning culture and what to expect when they go up there and play in 50-degree weather on Saturday night.
Yeah, having never been to Montana, are there elevation issues? Is it like going to play in Denver? Tell me what you've learned about that.
I've actually been to Missoula, Montana. I've been to the school. I went with Jim Foster's Vanderbilt women's basketball team for an NCAA tournament game and first round out there. And it's not like that. It is. The air is clean. It's crisp. I was talking to some guys just at TSU's practice. 15 degrees doesn't feel like 15 degrees here where it's heavy and it, the wind chill and all that. There it's more crisp and it won't be as cold, but elevation wise, it sits in a bowl. It sits down and it's just mountains everywhere and around it. But no, the elevation doesn't play in effect like it does at Denver or somewhere like that. I will tell you the two things I remember most was that the moose out there are huge and they're like squirrels. With our squirrels where they'll sit and wait for you to get in the car and they won't run off. That's the way moose are out there. They just kind of roam up to your front yard and look on your porch and they don't scare off easily. And the other thing was that there's no speed limits on the interstates. And of course, if you're out there for business, you're out there in a rental car. So that kind of makes it fun. Speed limits, I think at dark, at dusk, but not for the most part. You can go as fast as you want, kind of like the Autobahn.
So, Billy, it's obvious it's the day before Thanksgiving. What do you got for Mike?
Well, Mike, I want to get into this Vanderbilt Tennessee matchup with you covering Vanderbilt for as long as you did. How have you seen this?
Hey, hold on a second, Billy. Let me ask one thing. Billy, Mike, you got time for us to go to a break and then do a second segment?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. We'll go to the break, and then Billy will talk to Mike about the Tennessee Vanderbilt game that's coming on Saturday, so don't go away.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. Are you concerned about the Medicare Part D changes for 2025? Believe me, you're not alone. You need to contact Pancoast Benefits. They'll make the changes clear and easy to understand. Trust Pancoast to guide you through it all. Their knowledgeable team is here to help you understand the updates and make informed decisions about your Medicare coverage. Don't navigate these changes alone. Call Pancoast Benefits today at 615-292-3400 and choose option 3, or visit pancoastbenefits.com. That's 615-292-3400 and choose option 3.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I hope it's a safe and really fun 4 days for you, full of probably a lot of football, among other things. Mike Organ from the Tennessean is with us during this first hour. And by the way, he will be part of the fourth annual Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. Even though neither one of us knew it when we started, Mike is the official event photographer.
That goes back to all those relationships because I know everybody there, and they're willing to pose for me. You took advantage of that, and I do always enjoy it. But I like to bowl first so I can get that out of the bowling out of the way, so I can take pictures.
I got it. Billy, say hello to Mike Organ.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Billy. Thanks for getting on, for doing what it took to get my image on here.
Yes, well, maybe we do this moving forward. So we get
what a
get
technological advance this is.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. I'm interested going back to when you covered Vanderbilt and just being in Nashville, covering them for as long as you have. Have you seen? And I know we say this a lot in seasons. Man, this is the biggest Tennessee Vandy game in a long time. I mean, do you believe that with the stakes? Like how far do you go back to a Tennessee Vandy game where you go, man, I think that one might have been bigger?
Well, my first game was when I was still a high school writer, and I can't remember. I believe it was Tullahoma was playing at Jefferson County, and Todd Collins and was at Jefferson County at the time. And I was up there, and my boss just said, "Look, you're going to be up there Friday night. Swing over, spend the night with Clymer or Woody, and then cover the game the next day." And speaking of Chris Gaines was a middle linebacker in that game, and I think he recorded 36 tackles in that game, 34-36.
It was insane how many.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And Vanderbilt had a big lead early, and Tennessee came back and won. And speaking of me taking pictures, I got a really good picture of Johnny Majors grabbing Chris by the arm and pulling him over and talking to him. And I gave that picture framed to Chris for his 50th birthday a couple of years ago.
Oh, wow.
That was my first game to actually cover. Of course, I had seen games growing up. No, nothing compares to this. And unfortunately, it's because Vanderbilt has never gotten itself into position to do something at this point in the season. Now, Jerry DiNardo had some teams that had they won the game. Jerry had a couple of 5-6 teams. They would have finished 6-5 and broke that long losing streak. And Woody Woodenhofer had the same thing one season. They were 5-5 going into the Tennessee game and lost. Jerry blew it by allowing his team to start a fight before the game one year in the tunnel. Woody's teams, Woody always had really good game plans for Peyton Manning. Peyton was baffled by Woody as a defensive coordinator and as a head coach. And those were games that would have, who knows if they might have turned Vanderbilt's fortune had they beaten Tennessee and finished with a winning record. But nothing like this, Billy. This is a bowl team, Vanderbilt, that can increase. It can go to a much better bowl with a win. That will help them by beating Tennessee, and also just to beat Tennessee and keep Tennessee out of the playoffs. You hate to say it, but that's probably Vanderbilt's main motivation.
Yeah, all I keep hearing from Tennessee people is that Josh Heupel will not be able to come back from this if they lose this game. Are you? I mean, what happens if they lose on Saturday?
I don't think they fired Josh Heupel, but I think probably what they're talking about. Yeah, it would be hard to come back from. It would really be, difficult to overcome something like this. Now, that said, we've all had enough time now to see how good Vanderbilt is. So going into this game, fans and everyone else knows that this is a good Vanderbilt team. So it's not like they're going to be playing a 2-8 or 3-7 Vanderbilt team. They're playing a quality opponent that's beaten Alabama and gave Texas its best game of the season. That's pretty incredible. But that's a fact, and beat other SEC teams. So I think that takes a little bit off of Heupel. But the bottom line is it's still Vanderbilt and Tennessee, if it doesn't get the playoffs, has underperformed this year, and for that to be the final note that kept you out to be your arch rival Vanderbilt, which a lot of Tennessee fans don't even claim it's a rivalry anymore. That their rivals are Alabama and Florida and whatever. But it would be very difficult for Heupel to overcome. Now that said, it's not like it used to be now with the NIL and the transfer portal where you're going after high school kids and getting high school kids to come based on what you did, maybe on how you finished the previous season. With this wild west mentality, a loss may inspire somebody at another school, say, hey, I can go play for Tennessee. They're not that good, and may help Tennessee in the transfer portal. Times are so crazy these days.
Mike, in the SEC, you've got Alabama likely not making the playoff. Ole Miss got eliminated, of course, by Florida. Do you think there's a chance only 2 SEC teams get? I mean, like, say Tennessee loses, do you think there's a 3-loss SEC team that gets in, or do you think they narrow it down and maybe say that the SEC maybe wasn't as strong as we might have thought this year?
Well, I definitely think the SEC beat up on itself. Unlike any other, it does it all the time, but I think it did it this year more so. And then you throw, Texas and Oklahoma, and I mean, look at Oklahoma beating Alabama in that mix, and that made a significant difference. And I think that the committee will take that into consideration, that this isn't this is the new SEC, and that they may have to look at a 3-loss team. So I still think that 3 teams get in. Who they are, I don't know, but. I said on this show a few weeks ago that I like Georgia as the best team. And after I said that, I thought, man, I may have gone out on a limb and made myself look bad. But they've kind of come back and proven that Georgia might be the best team. And so even though Texas and Texas A&M are there, but to answer your question, I still think they get 3 in.
Guys, don't you all think this may stop Sankey's plan of 9 conference games, that the coaches are going to say, wake up, even at 8, we beat each other up and we ate our own.
Yeah, and if you're going to keep playing the championship game, which it could keep you out, that's another loss, then yes. And they're going to keep playing the championship game. It means too much to them. It's too much money. Then yes, I think that I think it squelches his plan to go to 9.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC championship, I know it's a moneymaker, but nobody really wants to play in that right now. I mean, Georgia's waiting on Texas A&M, but it'll be interesting to see what that SEC championship game looks like. Mike, one more thing from me. In high school football, what are you most looking forward to in Chattanooga? I know BGA and CPA are matching up. We've also got McCallie and Baylor. Shocker. What are you looking for down there in Chattanooga?
Well, you mentioned it. I like the CPA BGA matchup. Of course, being a mid-state guy, I like that. And I like that you've got an established coach in Engel, and then you got BGA with a new coach who did a fantastic job this year. That's the one I'm going to keep my eye on. My boss Tom Krieger asked me if I wanted to go down with him for a day just to watch. And I said yes, and I asked for that. That was the day I wanted to go. So that the other games, I would have loved to have seen Brentwood Academy make it this year. What a comeback story that was, and would have even been better if they had gotten back. But that'd be the game I'm looking for.
George?
Okay, Mike, I was thinking about while you were talking, how many Tennessee Vandy games have I seen in person? And I got to say the number is probably over 40.
Wow.
Because the first one I ever saw in person, I think would have been 1972.
Wow.
Steve Sloan. Well, no, I take that back. That might have been Bill Pace at the end. But anyway, I've seen somewhere 40, 45 of them. And for me, the weirdest one, because there was an anger for me in the way Watson Brown was being done. And, my dislike for Paul Houlihan sort of stemmed from that. 2 days later, he and I had a nasty go at it in the parking lot. Where he told me that if it weren't for me, you wouldn't know Watson Brown. And I told him, I said, get a clue, pal. I've known Watson for 15 years. You didn't have a damn thing to do with it.
I got a question for both of y'all. What's the ugliest? Not in terms of score, but man, the fights and these two, you could tell they hate each other. Like, what's the fieriest Vandy Tennessee game you've seen?
I'll take it. There was a period between 1973 and 76. Steve Sloan comes to Vandy. He's 28 years old. Tennessee has hired Bill Battle, 28 years old. Think about that, Mike. I mean, it would never.
Yeah.
It would never happen now.
Even though Jerry was very young too when he came.
So the scores in those 4 years, Billy, were, I'm trying to do this by memory, 20-17, 21-21. This is when we had ties in college. 17-14 Vandy in Knoxville, and then 13-10 Tennessee in what was Bill Battle's final game. And that was in 76. And Mike, after every play, there was a skirmish. And I was like, this has become a rivalry. And it was kind of fun there for a while.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. I don't go back as far as you do. I've probably seen more than 20 games live and watched. I don't know how many, but probably, I mean, well over 40. But I remember hearing, I remember that and that kind of being where it kind of got going. But I'd have to go back to the one that I was talking about a while ago. And George, you remember that? You were calling the game, I think, when Donardo they started the fight in the tunnel, and then came out and got beat 65-0.
Oh my gosh!
And everybody playing wouldn't have been, Tennessee would have won, 42-0 or 35, something like that. They hadn't started that fight, and of course, Donardo would not say the word Tennessee. I don't remember if he said the team to the east or
it was something like that.
Something like that, but he wouldn't say Tennessee. And
so, Mike, I don't know if you remember this part, but a day later, he's gotten beat 65-0. He's interviewing down at LSU.
Yeah.
And
how did he get that interview?
Well, I don't know, but he calls me a couple of days later. Joe Dean, the dean of SEC basketball back then, was the athletic director at LSU. And I had known Joe Dean since I was 8 years old and loved him. And so my name comes up in the discussion with Donardo. He says, "Do you know George?" Well, Donardo calls me a couple of days later. He's like, "Can you help me?"
I tell you what, my memory of that, first, Joe Dean was going to hire, was it Sloan or who was going to hire from Texas Christian?
Pat Sullivan. Is that right?
And he did
I think that's right.
He hired Pat Sullivan, and Pat gets there and he says, "Oh, by the way, I've got a buyout that you guys will need to take care of." And LSU said, "No, we're not taking care of a buyout." And so that deal fell apart, and Joe Dean had to hire somebody in a hurry because the job had been for open for a long time. So he knew, or he felt like Donardo was a slam dunk. So that's how Jerry got the job. I personally was sitting in Jerry's reception room of his office. He was having his end of year player meetings with each player, about 10, 15 minutes. Here's what you did well. Here's what you need to work on. See you, in the fall. And we were down to Sanford Ware. We were down to the W's, which I got to come in after the W's and talk to do my little interview with him. Well, Sanford and I are sitting there, and Jerry comes out of his office in a huff and tells his secretary, which I guess was June Jakes, "Hey, book me a flight." Or I don't think he said. All I remember is he went over and said something to June, and then he looked at us and says, "Guys, we're going to have to do this later at another time." So Stanford and I get up and leave, and we just think it's, something personal coming up or whatever. We leave. Jerry goes and gets on a plane, goes to LSU, and the next day is the LSU football coach. Next time I see him, I'm in Baton Rouge, and he and Joe Dean are hugging on stage. And he's introduced as the new LSU football coach.
Oh, this is great stuff. So we accomplished absolutely nothing today.
Nothing at all.
You know what, Mike? Sometime in the summer, we need to do a show that is nothing but this.
I'm all for that. Yeah. We can do 2, 3, 4 hours.
Hey, I'm very thankful over the years to have had you as a friend, to be able to run things up the flagpole. How do I do this? How do I solve that? You've been a great friend, and I love the fact that you're on the show with us.
Well, you as well, George. And like I said, we've been through some battles with other people that would have separated us and could have made us arch enemies. And for the fact that we're still talking is pretty much a miracle. And to be so close is even on top of that. So I'm so happy to be on here with you guys. I look forward to it every week and have fun. I talked to Kelly on the phone yesterday, so I missed him today. So always good to talk to him too.
He's just as full of bull, whether you deal with him or not. Listen, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Okay, you too, George, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week.
Hey, see you Monday night.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yes.
Okay.
I'll have my camera.
The official team photographer, Mike Organ, of the 4th annual Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. We'll go to the break, stat of the day, and the return of Kelly Holcomb. We'll find out about his golf game when we come back.
Where can you see a saber-toothed tiger rappel from the rafters? How about a catfish fly? The biggest stars in Music City. Not to mention hockey's hottest ticket.
The Predators win!
Only in Smashville. See your Nashville Predators take on the Philadelphia Flyers this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Get your tickets at NashvillePredators.com. Let's go, Preds!
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
All right, before we get to Garen Hoskins, or Kelly Holcomb, actually, we've got Garen Hoskins coming up from the Metro Nashville Police Department. But first, stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, or give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website, applecollisioncenters.com.
Hey, Billy, hold on a second. Before you put the question up there, let's bring Kelly up. And then, you know what? If Garen's going to be part of this show, he needs to try to figure out the question as well. In other words, we spread the blame when we don't get it right.
All right. They are both in here.
Okay. Hello, Kelly.
George.
Hello, Garen Hoskins.
What's up, George?
Garen, all I can say is you better come up with the right answer on this question. If you're going to be part of this show, you either contribute to the winning or the losing.
I'm going to try. We'll see
Okay.
what kind of question we got.
Let's see what we got.
Blake Snell becomes just the second multi-time Cy Young Award winner to join the reigning World Series champion in the same offseason. Name the other. Oh, that's a loaded one.
Okay.
Good luck.
Kelly,
Good luck,
Kelly,
George.
Kelly, I think I've got it.
Good. Let's see it.
Okay. I think it's Jacob deGrom who left the Mets to go to the world champion Texas Rangers. Garen, give me a thumbs up if you like that. If you don't like it, give me something else.
You know, I honestly don't know the answer, so I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I believe in you, George.
Boy, that's
Don't say that now, Garen. Don't say that. Don't go to believing in George just yet. All right.
Well, what do you got, Kelly? What's your answer?
I have nothing. I mean, this is not my expertise here. I have nothing. Now, I was on a roll last week, but let's just don't go giving George the keys to the Cadillac just yet.
I like to pump him up a little bit before I bring him down.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Kelly.
Thank you.
Billy, show me Jacob deGrom. Oh,
yeah. There we go. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, wow.
Every time George gets in this deal where he feels like he doesn't say it, but it's a book it moment, it never turns out good.
Oh, this one pisses me off. I thought I had it.
Roger Clemens.
Shows what I know. So officially, we're into hour number 2 of the show, and we've asked our buddy Garen Hoskins from the Metro Nashville Police Department to join us. And Kelly, feel free to jump in on this. How you doing? Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving to y'all too. Looking forward. This is the season to get fat.
Nice. Well, I've already achieved that. Thank you. Thank you for noticing.
It's called Fat and Happy, George.
Yeah. Do you get days off during Thanksgiving, or is it pretty much work as it is?
No, we get days off. So we have non-essential employees and essential employees. Essential employees would be employees who are in patrol capacity and stuff. And even in patrol, we do a really fair way of doing it. We will rotate days off. So if officer wants to have off Thanksgiving, then they'll work Christmas. And then if they have off Thanksgiving or Christmas, and vice versa. So a lot of the big holidays we usually share, but luckily for me this year, I have the holidays off because in my role as a recruiter right now, I'm considered a non-essential employee. So as you can tell, I work primarily in an office, but I am also a negotiator too. So I am on call. So there is a chance that I could get called out for that.
Okay, speaking of on call, I'm guessing there are hundreds of you all who assumed we're going to have a Merry Christmas, and then at 6:00 in the morning, you have a downtown bombing. I've got to believe that's one none of you will ever forget.
No, that was definitely something that the city has never seen before, and was extremely scary at the time. So whenever there's a large emergency like that, obviously your first responders, your patrol officers, your firefighters, they're going to be the first on the scene. But that's where a lot of us can get called in. So, kind of leading into that for this Thanksgiving holiday and the shopping and everything, we had put out a public notice that there'll be plenty of officers around your shopping facilities, both on mounted patrol, walking patrols, and even in the air to keep people safe while they're shopping and enjoy the holiday season.
We ought to be thankful for that.
Absolutely.
Among the things that we all ought to be thankful for is that you all are doing this kind of thing for us and kind of putting your lives on the line. Garen, I was talking earlier about how fortunate, how thankful I am that I've spent a life, I mean, let's face it, in buffoonery, in child's play, in the toy department of life. And, you know, it's hard to fathom the responsibilities you all have when the only responsibility I've got is to tell you that Louisville leads Indiana by 7 at the half.
Well, this job is what I recruit for, looking for those good officers out there, people that, you know, they're looking to serve their communities. And this job's a great job. It provides some of the best benefits you can have. I've got a wife and 3 kids, and I have plenty of health care. You know, Metro pays 75% of the premium. You know, we're supported in a lot of different ways, not to mention we're the highest paying agency in Tennessee. And, you know, our recruits start out at a base pay of $60,000, and within a year they're at somewhere between 68 and 72 base pay. That's before overtime. And then our lateral officers that transfer here from another agency that have at least 2 years of patrol experience, full-time law enforcement experience, they're starting off between 73 and 77,000 a year. So just with that, just the salary, the benefits, and this is a highly important job for the community. But at the same time, we have such a great approval rating from the community, especially here in Middle Tennessee. They know our officers are well trained. They know we think with empathy, and we investigate fully into crimes to bring justice. And I'll tell you, I've been doing it for 10 years, and I love it. I wouldn't do anything else.
That is so cool to hear. By the way, Kelly, let me hit you with some breaking news. Now, no matter when he's assigned to work, Saturday, 11 in the morning, you can forget it. I'll guarantee you I know where he'll be, and it's in front of a television watching his beloved Big Orange.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Oh, so we got another Big Orange guy on the show here, huh?
The biggest.
Oh,
Tony, I think would give me a run for my money, but you're talking about a young man that was born in Knoxville, Tennessee, attended the University of Tennessee, and just bleeds orange. And George, I've got some predictions for you whenever you're ready to hear them.
Well, let's hear them.
So
let's go.
I know the spread right now against Vandy is 10.5. I was actually at the Texas versus Vanderbilt game when Texas was, I believe, ranked number 1 or number 2 at the time.
Yeah.
I saw what Vandy also did with Alabama earlier in the year. Alabama at that point had no losses to my understanding. So that was a big game. So I would go to say I am a tad bit nervous about this game. However, here's my prediction. Vanderbilt, it's going to be a very defensive game, and scores are going to be hard to come by. However, I think Vandy does cover the spread at plus 10.5. However, they barely cover the spread, and my final score prediction would be 31-21 Tennessee.
Kelly?
Okay. All righty. Hey, so some of this stuff is intriguing to me. So let me ask you this. In the times that we're in, has it been harder for you to recruit guys? Easier? Just give me a little feedback on that, because we all know these have been tumultuous times with what's going on, and you get the New Yorks and the Californias, but has it been harder for you to recruit in this time?
I would say the harder part of, as far as recruiting compared to, say, 1980, is just going out and finding those individuals that, one, can pass through the rigorous background investigation, and then 2, finding the people who want to do this job. As generations go, every generation's a little bit different. But I find that people find law enforcement at different times of their life. I was just talking to a gentleman that was 40 years old and had a career for the last 15 years. And the common question that I always or the common statement that I always get is, I've always wanted to do this, but I never jumped on the opportunity. And so when I find individuals like that, all I can do is provide all the information of what we have here at the Metro Nashville Police Department. And a lot of the times we'll find people that, they finally decide to go with their dream. You find a lot of little kids that, all little kids want to be a firefighter, a police officer, an astronaut, something like that. But as they go and they grow older, sometimes that passion stays with them, but they just never jump on the opportunity. And so what I look for, and my other fellow recruiters look for, is people with empathy skills, good communicators, a common sense kind of knowledge. And when they get in here, we take anyone from that's got a degree in basket weaving to someone who's a rocket science degree major. And we can train them into good officers, well-rounded officers that can serve their communities and be a part of this amazing police department. And not to mention, another big thing that I sell going to California, going to New York, and Midwest is selling the city as well. Middle Tennessee is a great place to live, to raise a family. And, so I not only sell a department, but I sell a city.
So let me ask you this. So when you talking about that and you go into other places, are you getting transplants? Are you getting people from New York? Are you getting a lot of people from California? Are you getting people from Colorado? Are you getting people to come in here that said, hey, we've had enough of that. We want to come to a place like Nashville?
Yes, and that's a part. So I take my police mentality, my investigative mentality into recruiting. We look at areas that have low opportunity for law enforcement, and we look for, not only do we recruit heavily around Middle Tennessee, of course we do, but with recruiting nowadays, we have to go places. We have to find where there's opportunity or little opportunity and people who want jobs in law enforcement. And so for the last this year and next year, we started hosting for the first time ever a civil service test, which is a beginner test to be a police officer in the application process. And we host that on Long Island in New York. And in Long Island, up there, you really got NYPD and a handful of other agencies. But in regards to politics and everything like that, which I won't get into, there's not a lot of opportunity. And so we go up there and provide that opportunity. And this last recruiting class that we had, as far as the civil service test goes, I think we had about 86 people that came to take our test. And what we look for, and that's only in one test. We host this test 4 times a month. So that right there shows you that there are people that still want to do this job. The opportunity is there, but it's kind of hard to find it sometimes where they're raised. And so I go to those places, talk to them about the city, educate them on Middle Tennessee and Nashville as a whole, and then offer them an opportunity in law enforcement here.
Okay, so this is intriguing to me. You talked about how you were a negotiator. How stressful is that when that's actually going on? Is it like the movie The Negotiator? I think it was Samuel L. Jackson. But is that kind of what it is? Or like, that's got to be a stressful time. And this is the first time I've ever talked to a negotiator because I want to hear something about it.
And if Darren has his way, it'll be the last time.
So, yes, with my job in recruiting and my job as a negotiator, they go hand in hand. A lot of listening and a lot of talking. With negotiating, it's all about de-escalation. I've been trained by the FBI. That's another part of our police department. If we can't provide the training, the department will have the training for us. That way they have the most trained officers doing that job in whatever way. And training is a big thing that sets our department out from a lot of other departments. And that's a really good recruiting tactic that I have in explaining that. But as a negotiator, yes, my job is to bring a situation to a peaceful resolution and this department is very much on de-escalation skills. And through my negotiator course, I have been able to be a part of a team of negotiators that can respond to highly critical incidents and try to bring them to a peaceful resolution. And our team does a really good job of that. And I have been lucky to be a part and be the primary negotiator on a few calls in which I was able to help people get mental health treatment that they needed and to bring the solution to the incident to a peaceful resolution. So a lot of work goes into that, but I'm going to tell you, as an officer on this department, that's the best. That's why I signed up to do this job. It's to save lives and to make this community better. Because you think of a ripple effect. You think of a drop in a bucket and those ripple effects. You're not only affecting that person, you're affecting their friends, their family, their coworkers, anyone who would have been devastated by a different outcome of the incident. And so when I come to a scene, that is my goal, is to bring it to a peaceful resolution, because I know I'm not only affecting them, but I'm affecting a lot of other people. And that's my job, and I love doing it.
Kelly, I had Garen speak to my downtown Kiwanis club about a year ago, and there's a particular story he told that involves this kind of stuff. And I have never heard our bunch of heathens as quiet as they were. It's incredible stuff. Garen, thank you for coming on here. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. And please pass on our best to the entire Metro Nashville Police Department.
I will. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys as well. And go Vols.
We'll see about Saturday. Garen, thank you.
Yes, sir.
After the break, the buffoonery begins. Underdog picks. And then, Kelly, after that, plaster picks of the weekend. You've never been a part of that before. And I'm worried about some of the reactions to some of what I'm going to put out there.
Don't be. You're pretty good
Well,
at it.
I will be. Stay tuned. We're coming back.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. Are you concerned about the Medicare Part D changes for 2025? Believe me, you're not alone. You need to contact Pancoast Benefits. They'll make the changes clear and easy to understand. Trust Pancoast to guide you through it all. Their knowledgeable team is here to help you understand the updates and make informed decisions about your Medicare coverage. Don't navigate these changes alone. Call Pancoast Benefits today at 615-292-3400 and choose option 3. or visit pancostbenefits.com. That's 615-292-3400 and choose option 3.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Oh, it is time for a Thanksgiving edition of Underdog Picks. Billy, in the left-hand part of the box, is our commissioner. It's nothing to be proud of. He simply was the only person left.
Yeah, and he's done a very inadequate job up until this point.
Billy, how do you feel about that?
I think I've done fine. It's my second year of commissioner. I'm also in the competition though, so there's a lot on my plate here.
Yeah, gosh.
This is a lot on your plate. The silly underdogs is a lot, Billy. My goodness, if that's the case, George, you need to start thinking, Hoss, about a replacement.
Spare me the weight of the world BS.
I got Tony in Knoxville. I'll just give him a call.
Yeah,
he don't want you anymore. I don't think it doesn't sound like he's very positive about you anymore. For some reason,
you can't get him Preds tickets.
I'll go tonight and I'll tell him I want the job.
Yeah, good luck.
I'll need your help, George. So.
Yeah, I don't doubt you will. So, are we now prepared for this, or are we completely unprepared?
We're prepared, just like we always are for this.
Yeah.
We'll start with my result. That was utterly embarrassing. Virginia lost 33-7 to SMU.
You know, I tried to tell you. You talked a bunch of nonsense about how
that was a dumb pick.
Virginia number 1 is dull. They got the dullest uniforms in the country.
I don't know how. I mean, I had Colorado. I was thinking about that one. They got upset. Obviously, Alabama got upset. Kelly, congratulations. First win.
Thank you.
What, since week 1?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. A win is a win, Billy. We don't need to hear about all that, dude. You know? And the thing about it is my next pick was going to be UAB Rice, so I was good either way.
Wow, what got into you this week?
Hey, just sometimes it happens that way. This is silly underdog picks for a reason, Billy. There's no rhyme nor reason why you win a game.
You know what, though? I was thinking the last time you won, Joe Biden was running for the White House.
Pretty good, George. You are absolutely correct on that one.
Well, he wasn't correct on UCLA. Lost 19-13. What do you have to say about that, George?
Bunch of wuss bags. They were up 13-9 going to the fourth quarter. Now, I wasn't counting my winnings, but I was kind of saying, you got a heck of a shot here. Whatever. Move on. Yeah, move on.
Moving on to the standings. George is still in first with 37. I'm still in second at 23.5, but Kelly nipping at our heels. Big next couple of weeks. If George, I might just quit this show if Kelly ends up somehow miraculously getting hot here and winning. I mean,
it happens it happens, Billy.
Sometimes
that does happen.
It has happened.
That would be just unbelievable.
But what would be different is who does it. Because I don't sense in Kelly, if that happens, a win with class, act like you've been there.
Of course not.
I don't see any of that. But I will say,
George,
my suit looks really good in that picture.
Yes,
got a nice all I know is this: if I do come back, yes, it's going to be blatantly obvious that I have no class, none whatsoever. I'm not going to win with class. And yeah, y'all are going to hear it for a while.
That would be when I look elsewhere.
God, I had not thought about this as a possibility. I thought we had you dead and buried.
The freaking Florida Gators.
I kind of liked it that way.
And Billy, here's the deal: you still got Pogie's points up there. If it wasn't a bit, I think we're tied right now. If you don't,
well, Pogie said, Pogie never said I had to take him away. So I
know, but you're the commissioner. I mean, stand for something. Have some morals about you.
I'm going to credit Pogie if I end up winning. So that's how it works.
You obviously didn't take an ethics class at Father Ryan. Obviously.
Well, thanks. Anyway, Kelly Holcomb will pick first this week. George will go second, and I will go third.
Now, would I trust that we do not have music this week?
No music this week.
Kelly, your reaction to that?
Oh, gosh. Well, my reaction is it's a gym shoe operation in the first hour because I wasn't here, and it's becoming way more of a gym shoe operation now. We have no music. Billy knew what was going on, and he's not prepared. That's really what it boils down to.
I think you might have had a senior moment, Kelly, because I think I remember George telling you last week that we were pre-recording today.
Yes, I did.
I don't remember that.
Well, that may be because you're becoming a senior.
I am having senior moments, but you got to text me for sure because you know how I am. I'm conscientious about that stuff. So when Billy texted me this morning, I was like, oh, my gosh, I'm on the golf course.
I just credited it that you've been hitting the head one time.
First off, isn't it like 38 degrees in Nashville? What are you doing on the golf?
If you're soft, it is. If you're soft, it is, Billy, which we know you're soft, so we know you're not going to play. If you're a golfer, you play.
Well, I'll be honest. I'm with Billy. If you think I'm getting out there in that kind of weather, you're crazy. Do you have a pick? Do you have a pick?
Do.
Not that I already know what it is.
No, I'm not going to pick that. I'm going to let you have it because there's not enough meat on the bone for me to get back in the competition. So I'm going to go after a meatier thing, a home underdog, and I'm going to take the Orangeman, which you took a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to take Syracuse to beat Miami.
Let me say up front that I am convinced it's got a shot. Kelly, I will prove to you later how much I believe in that pick.
Okay. All right. So that's where you're going. Oh, wow.
Well, let's just say that when we get to my weekend picks, it might get your attention.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yes.
I mean, you're just going to sit. Yeah, I mean, introduce. Give me the introduction that I deserve. I am the leader.
You're really unfocused right now. You're in Baltimore. Your little girlfriend's sitting over there next to you, tapping you on the shoulder. You're not focused on anything. Figure it out, Billy. Grow up.
Up next, George Plaster.
The leader in the clubhouse. The leader of the show. The leader of the free world. So, let me just say that this week's pick takes on a little different feeling because, Billy, this is a book it. A&M basically takes Texas to the woodshed and says to Quinn Ewers, you're going to have to get out of the pocket every once in a while. You're going to have to show some mobility. And you know what? He can't. They're going to get about 6 sacks in this game, and they are going to win outright. A&M at home in what is not an upset, but will be the best environment you've seen at a college football game. If you don't watch one other game this year, watch A&M and Texas Saturday night.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be awesome.
This is the first time they played in a while, is it not?
2011.
Yeah, which is insane. That's stupid.
Yeah, because they're huge rivals, correct?
Yeah. Well, what really goes on in that thing is A&M feels like Texas has treated them like a bastard stepchild. You know, you get a lot of A&M's a cow college, A&M's this, A&M's that. The Texas people can be a little snotty about it. Thus, the A&M people give it a lot of that. Where the Texas people do that.
All
Billy,
right.
A&M wins this game. You just
That's a good pick.
Book it.
well, I don't care whether you think it's a good pick or not.
He booked it, so I feel pretty
Y'all
confident that it's
took
not going to happen.
y'all took my first two picks, my top two picks.
Well, there's an obvious third one out there.
Are you saying Vandy?
No, I'm not.
Are you saying Arizona?
No,
He's going with
absolutely
the
not.
Iron Bowl. He's going with the Iron Bowl.
Nope.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Nope.
UMass over UConn?
Okay.
Do they even play football?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, well, those are not the obvious.
That's on BBC Uganda.
Oh, I don't know what the obvious is.
Well, you'll find out soon enough. Give us your pick.
Yeah, let's go, Billy.
I'm going to go with Arkansas plus 3.5 at Missouri. I think they finally beat Missouri.
Well, that's another week you won't catch me.
That's right. Billy, here's the deal, man. Like in the competition, you have to understand if you want to win, like I used to make a living on just singles and doubles, man, but you're behind by 14 runs. You got to come on. 3 ain't going to get it.
How many weeks we got left, though?
It doesn't matter. Hey, all these games that are about to happen are not going to be big. They're not going to have big underdogs anymore.
Oh.
But I didn't have any other beliefs in Vandy over Tennessee or anybody else.
I don't really have much belief in Syracuse, but it's a 10.5-point game.
That's
Hoss.
a good pick, though.
There's another good one out there. I'm about to tell you what it is. I'm about to tell you. Are we now ready for plaster bets of the weekend?
Yes, and it's brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Real quick, checking out what happened last night. Kansas got a win, and they covered.
Yeah. And they played a little dirty.
Yeah.
Hunter Dickinson, not a good move.
He got kicked out, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He got shown the door.
Did he?
So, Kelly, for the weekend, I have 5 college plays and 2 pro plays. I want you to pay very close attention. The first one, admittedly, is with my heart. Okay?
Oh.
Sanford Stadium tomorrow night. Well, Friday night. Georgia has gotten in a bad habit that may or may not cost them down the road. But Georgia plays up and down to certain levels of competition. And for the last few years, they have been able to thumb their nose at Georgia Tech and get away with it. Now, by no means am I saying Georgia Tech wins this game, but they have, in my mind, a clear advantage at offensive coordinator. Buster Faulkner can run circles around Mike Bobo. There is no comparing the two. And if you reverse the roles and Bobo was the offensive coordinator at Georgia Tech, you'd see that Bobo may be more of a bozo. I am a big Buster Faulkner fan. He will have a very good game plan against Georgia. A lot of misdirection. He's going to use Georgia's aggressiveness against them. No, they're not going to win the game, but yes, they are going to cover. Go Yellow Jackets.
I like that one. I actually like that one.
Wreck 'em. What do they say?
Ramblin' Wreck of
Ramblin'
Georgia
Wreck.
Tech. Yeah.
Yeah.
Item number 2 involves Syracuse. If Syracuse gets off to a good start, not only will they cover, but they will have a hell of a shot of knocking Miami out of the college football playoff and taking them out of their misery. Syracuse will score some points. And if they get off to a good start, not only do they cover, but they're going to make it very uncomfortable for the old Canes. Syracuse has gone into the Buster Faulkner playbook to see some of what they did 2 weeks ago. Syracuse covers.
It's another good pick, George. Obviously, I picked it for my silly underdog, but I don't think Miami will beat them by 10.5 if they do.
I'm not sure they beat them at all.
I'm not either.
Item number 3. Here's one where the favorite takes care of business. Arizona sucks. It's a team that's gone nowhere all year long. Arizona State, one word, scataboo. Take them. They're going to win.
Scataboo.
Scataboo, scataboo.
What a name.
Item number 4, Kelly, I don't think Billy appreciates.
That's
So
a
let me
pick.
let me
That's
just
an awful pick, George.
The more you hear this song, dun 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 dun.
That's a dumb pick.
Let me tell you something. If USC gets off to a good start, all of a sudden the doubts will creep in. All of a sudden the dark cloud, Northern Illinois, the pressure of what is the Vatican going to think if we don't beat USC? What is St. Henry's going to think if we don't beat USC? And before you know it, not only is Southern Cal going to cover, they're going to make life very uncomfortable for little Billy.
Billy, is it in South Bend or is it in L.A.?
It's
in L.A.
Oh.
Do you want me to?
You talk about teams sucking. USC sucks.
They're an average football team, but they believe because they have a history of winning. They hate Notre Dame. They'll be ready.
Billy, Notre Dame got beat by Northern Illinois, who looked like a school child when they played Miami of Ohio.
10 weeks.
I'm just saying.
They have dominated teams.
They played the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. Next year, they've got the Coast Guard coming.
Coast Guard.
Okay.
And I think Metro Nashville Police should be on the schedule.
Yeah.
So, Billy, if you're that confident of Notre Dame, why don't I ever hear you say, you know what? Screw all of y'all. When they get in the playoff, they're going to make a bunch of noise. I never hear you say that. You know why? Because you don't trust them.
It's about their matchup.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And the final college game is obvious. A&M. Book it.
Wow. Book it. I don't know, George.
Kelly,
those are pretty good picks, George. I will say that.
I see the recipe. Let me tell you what the recipe is. A&M, first of all, they get that crowd going. That crowd's worth a lot. Secondly, they basically send the kitchen sink at Quinn Ewers. And if he can get rid of the football, they're in deep trouble. But I've seen scenarios where he just has to tuck it because he has no mobility. He's a sitting duck, and A&M's going to take advantage of that.
I can see that.
Now let's go to the pro picks, which do not bring or elicit the level of passion. 2-team teaser. Buffalo -1 at home against a reeling San Francisco. What has happened to the 49ers? I don't know. I do know they get Brock Purdy back, which will be to their advantage. Tomorrow, the Lions are at home against the Bears. And we're teasing the 2 down, Buffalo to -1, Detroit to -4. Now, there will come a point where Aiden Hutchinson's injury out for the season is going to really hurt Detroit, but not tomorrow. Did you like that, Kelly? That was dramatic, but not tomorrow.
That was dramatic. I tell you what has happened to San Francisco. They've had too many injuries.
Yeah.
Too many big guys, key guys getting hurt, missing games. The running back, Deebo Samuel's been out. Christian McCaffrey's been out. The tight end's been out. They've had Jawan Jennings has been. They just can't get everybody on the field. Now Brock Purdy's hurt. So hopefully if they get him back, I'm not sure they're going to make the playoffs this year, guys.
I don't think so either. The only reason they're even in contention is the division leaders are 6-5 and they're 5-6. The final play is the Belichick special. We're going the Colts -3 at New England. Why? Because I couldn't find anything else I really liked. But
Those
at least
pretty
I'm
good picks,
honest.
George.
Yeah.
No, you are.
What do
You've
you
had some
think?
experience with that for sure.
Okay, so 7 plays. How many do you think win?
Ooh. I'm going to say at least 4 of them win. And they might even be 5.
Yeah.
Which ones do you not like, Kelly?
The last one with the Patriots. I think Georgia Tech covers. I think the Patriots, like, they're bad, but it's at home. And Anthony Richardson, like, he's sometimes he's kind of a turnover magnet. So I don't know. I think that one, and then I think that one's a winner. Keep going, Billy. I kind of think that one, man. I'm not sure Notre Dame beats them. I know they're bad this year, but it's still. I'm serious. I think that's a good pick. Now, whether USC wins, I don't know. That's a Arizona State's pretty good. Yeah, Arizona State's pretty good this year. I think that could be a winner, but then, if Miami plays well, then he might lose that one. But I think that one's a great pick right there. I do. I don't think Georgia beats Georgia Tech by that.
Okay. As we end this, our final show around Thanksgiving, Billy, put your mugshot up there. One of the things I'm appreciative of is that we got 3 people in here with a sense of humor who can rag on each other unmercifully, as you all have figured out, and keep coming back for more because nobody takes it seriously. Well, Billy, you should take it seriously.
Thanks, George. Happy Thanksgiving.
Seriously, I am very appreciative that I got coworkers that I love working with, that are fun to deal with, that can poke fun and be poked at without, needing a psychiatrist the next day. Did he really mean that? That's nice when you have that. And I'm very appreciative in my later years in life that I have that.
Good gracious, we're not going to get nostalgic here and start crying. Happy Thanksgiving, fellas. That's great. Thanks, George. Same. It's a ditto.
Same to you as well. What a great way to end it. Billy, get back to town.
I will.
Okay.
I'll be in
police. Yeah,
Billy,
I'm sure you will.
Billy, you're not going to get on a knee this weekend, are you?
No. It's not the weekend.
It's not to that point yet?
Not yet.
Is it close?
No, Kelly, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Hey, don't send me the invite. I won't have to tell you no. You know what I'm saying?
Neither one of us are getting you a present. Okay, we're out of here. Happy Thanksgiving.
See you.
We'll be back Monday live from the Strike and Spare at 3436 Lebanon Pike for the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. When we're on the air, will be during the time that we do the underprivileged kids part of the whole deal. The folks from Cottage Cove, the Boys and Girls Club of Nashville, and the Martha O'Brien Center will all be there. There will be somewhere in the neighborhood of 125 underprivileged kids who will be there, and that fires me up. All of you have a great Thanksgiving. Drive safely. Be safe. We want you back on Monday.